welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness.
Well, welcome to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show with Don Getling and Gino Fronte. For over 8 years now, we've been basically guiding you to personal and financial wellness, and we do that with interviewing the best of the best, giving you reports and updates on a regular basis so you're in the know. And we search high and wide and nationally to find the experts in every single field, whether it's financial planning, college planning, trusts, bankruptcy,
just about anything that can affect your finances, right? I mean,
exactly.
When we started the show was all about distress. That's where the economy was. So it was a lot of bankruptcy, short sales, real estate agents, foreclosures, REO agents. Well, now it's changed, and we're talking as the economy changes, as our day-to-day lives change. We can talk about different subjects. And today, as Don and I were discussing before the show with our guests, we're going to talk a little bit about investment property. Hopefully you purchased some investment property over the last 7 to 10 years. You're probably very happy with it.
I bet.
I'm sure you did well, but there's the day-to-day struggles of it. And to give you a little background on myself, I've owned property since, I think 2002. I think that was when I purchased my first property, and I self-managed it for years and years and years, so I know how much work it is. So maybe you're regretting that a little bit. And
I can attest to that. I bought properties because you have those hot areas, whether it be Florida or it was after Katrina. A lot of people jumped on that. I get a tax write-off.
That was good.
I jumped in Vegas for a little while because that was very inexpensive and a hot market. And then I found out being a landlord's not all it's cracked up to be sometimes. In fact, some of the units I've actually just gotten rid of just because I didn't want the hassle. So we brought some experts in to help us figure out what do you do about that? Because there's nothing like investing in real estate. It's the best way to build your net worth is real estate over time, without a doubt. They've matched it up to financial planning. And I know my dad retired on not his pension plan. that's an old school thing. That's kind of
pensions are gone, by the way.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. So how do you retire?
It's like a pager. Somebody will be like, "What's that?"
Yeah, I remember. So bottom line is, real estate's a great way to build your net worth. But managing it, maybe you're not an expert, don't have the time, don't want to do it, don't know how to do it. So we brought some experts to our show today to help you nationally know what are some of the idiosyncrasies of property management and maybe why you should maybe hire an expert to help you with that.
Yeah, and maybe you're not ready to hire a full-time property management company. So they also offer some a la carte services to help guide you if you're just looking for a little bit of guidance, or if you're just looking to see what the best software is for you, or maybe you're uncomfortable with shopping in outside of your state, like me. I have a very, very hard time getting outside of my bubble where I know how to invest. And so maybe they can help you a little bit with that.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, Gino, because if you don't have a resource outside of California, then you're probably, for us, you're like, I'm just going to stay away from it. But then if you have a resource going, we can handle it there.
Yeah.
And wherever you're at, we can still handle it. So we brought in 2 experts, and believe it or not, they've been on our show before. And we've had Linda Liberatore, trying to make sure I say it, and she's actually even wrote the book on it regarding My Landlord Helper, Libby the Landlord Manager, LandLord Secrets, all the good stuff, but basically helping landlords with this difficulty of basically trying to become a landlord while you're still doing your normal job and trying to figure out how to handle, having all the resources needed to handle it right. So we brought them along through video. And they're going to share with you some of why they started what they do, what they're doing, how they're doing it nationally, some of the tips and tricks and all that, and why they wrote the book on, the LandLord Secrets, basically.
All right, so
welcome
no further
aboard,
ado.
Linda and Megan. Welcome aboard.
Hi. Yes, I'm Siobhan.
Megan and Siobhan.
Huh?
Nice try, Megan and Siobhan.
That's okay. Linda, we work with Linda. Pay One, My Landlord Helper. So we work nationwide with buy and hold investors who are kind of self-managing. They have their portfolio and still want to stay involved. So they work with us, and we take over all the stuff that they don't want to deal with, like tenant calls and maintenance concerns and collections. So, but they still have some control over what they're doing. So what we've been focusing on lately is the new generation of renters, Generation Z. So we work with technology and teach them how their new generation of renters is going to be looking for technology solutions to paying their rent, to submitting a maintenance request, and they have to have the right software for that.
Well, I remember when things changed for me, right? And even just in the last, 15 years of property ownership, when I first started, I think maybe 50% of my tenants paid cash. Then maybe it was like 20%. And then at some point it was me driving the boat saying, look, I don't want to go there anymore. You're going to have to figure out how to pay online. I just want it to be deposited in an account. I want it to be direct deposit. I want it to happen on the 4th of every month. I'm over it. So technology helps have a little more consistency as well.
Oh, and tracking? Hard to track cash.
True, true.
That's what I was going to say. If someone hands you the rent in cash and you put it in your pocket, go to the hardware store to buy something, you can't track that, have an accurate record of what they paid and when they paid. So it's, if they're able to pay it online, you can keep an accurate ledger that way.
Our worst nightmare.
Yeah. So you mentioned Jen.
To mention that they go and pick up the rent from their tenants.
Yeah.
It's scary, huh?
Yeah.
You're like, please don't do that.
Yeah.
I know my property manager basically said, I'm like, oh yeah, let me call them on that. He's like, no, don't speak to them. Once you get trapped, you're trapped forever. Because then you get that different call, and this is probably, I think, the best lesson I've learned with working with someone like you, lovely ladies, is that now I'm not involved. So they don't call and go, hey, my paycheck got delayed, or my car broke down, or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm a jerk if I don't give them a couple more days. Whereas you guys are like, this is business, and if you pay late, you're paying a penalty, and you need to get paid, or you're out.
So true story. Actually have a tenant that still lives in the units today, probably been living there for like 8 or 9 years, and we became pretty friendly. He's a nice guy, super cool. He was kind of maybe dating my cousin, something along those lines. So my cousin
never heard this kind of story, right?
So my cousin,
tell us this, Gino.
Well, so my cousin brings him over, and they start going to the gym with us, and all of a sudden, so now my tenant has now become into my circle. Right, and so sure enough, what happened is, hey, I'm having a hard time. I lost my job, this and that. Well, for the next year, it was like chasing after, till it got to like 3 months deep. And I was like, hey, at 3 months deep, dude, we got to do something. You got to go. You got to go by the end of the month. And then he would catch up, and I'd find myself back in the same situation. Hired the management company to save me from things like that, because I had multiple situations similar. And what ended up happening was, I said the first time he was late, I said, serve him an eviction notice. I said, immediately, serve him an eviction notice. And so, of course, he called me. He's like, hey, what's this, man? What's with your new management company? Real classy the way they handle things. I go, it is classy. I go, that's what they're supposed to do. That's why I hired them. I'm too busy. I can't handle it anymore. And you're going to have to pay your rent on time. Well, fast forward 4 or 5 years, wherever we are today, never once paid the rent late again. So that doesn't mean he couldn't pay. That means he was just preferentially treating other people and sliding me out.
Right. One of the first things we hear a lot of times when we take over managing for properties is tenants it'll be like the 16th of the month and they haven't paid.
Oh my God.
And the excuse is immediately, well, what do you mean? I'm not even 1 month behind. Like they genuinely believe, oh,
That's
it's
okay.
still January. What do you mean?
Like I have 15 more days.
That's one of the great things too about the technologies and these property management softwares that are out there, and even the ones if you're running them on your own and you don't have a property management company, they're all sending out automated reminders. You get a reminder before rent is due, you get a reminder on the day rent is due, you get a notice when it's late, they're automatically generating, right, they're automatically
That's awesome.
They're automatically mailing out if you have it set up a recurring template, they're automatically emailing out the legal notice. Obviously you have to have it served, but it's just all these reminders that are getting sent to these tenants without you even doing anything.
So it just takes the, like you were saying, right, the personal aspect of it out, because they're just getting these on the same day, every single month. Every tenant is getting them. So it's not like, you know, fair housing laws. You can't say, I'm not going to send this to my friend, but I'm going to send it to the other guy. You have to send it to everyone, and the software does that for you.
I love it. Again, if you just tuned in, we're here with basically, I call them my landlord helper, but they've written a book on it, and nationally they're helping, you know, landlords manage their properties, and they're giving us tips and information on why you should hire one, what they handle, the technology that's available. So we're going to take a little break, and we're going to bring back. We have Megan and Siobhan.
There you go.
And we're going to bring them back to kind of go over the details, some of the options you have with
cost
them.
Is very
important. And
important.
why you should hire someone like Siobhan and Megan with Linda Liberatore's company. And they've written the book on Landlord Secrets. So stay tuned, and we're going to dive into some more information that'll help all your investors. And if you are an investor, I guarantee you know somebody that's got a headache trying to manage their properties. So we'll be right back in the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show.